Keith Carson. I want to welcome you to another edition of Just Ask Keith, which is a weekly opportunity for residents and constituents of the 5th District to write in questions that they want to ask me as the supervisor for the 5th District, representing Albany, Berkeley, Piedmont, Emeryville, and about a third of Oakland, West Oakland, North Oakland, Montclair, San Antonio district. This week's question comes from a Berkeley resident, and the question is, what led me to decide to run for public office, and what advice would I offer to someone deciding whether to run for the first time? I'm not sure that there was one defining issue that caused me to think about running for public office. I was very fortunate. For 15 years, I worked for United States Congressman Ron Dellums in his district office and his Washington office, which gave me a lot of insight into kind of how government operates, at least the federal government, working with city, state government officials. And the other opportunity I had was that I was born and raised at a time in which there was a lot of activism going on in the Bay Area. There was the civil rights movement, the free speech movement, the women's movement, the disability rights movement, all taking place right here in my own backyard, and was consumed and engaged in that, and felt a sense of wanting to give back, not necessarily as an elected official, but wanting to give back to this community. The second part to the question is, what advice would I offer to someone deciding whether to run for the first time? And I want to take that second question and add it to the first question, which is how did I decide to run for public office? One is, I would clearly say to anyone interested in running for public office to honestly do their homework, to clearly know what the responsibilities of the office is that they might be considering and want to work for. The responsibilities means the statutory responsibilities. It means the administrative responsibilities, the time commitment that one would have to make serving in whatever that elective body is, or even on some of the boards and commissions that are out there, so that you can, if you're wanting to do the work, that you really invest the quality time which is essential in any elective office. Secondly, I think that you need to get a sense of who is it that you're serving? What does your constituency look like? And while we are all as individuals serving in elected capacity, make our decisions based on our own values, as opposed to how many votes that it might impact. It's more value driven, I would hope, and kind of your core values, and then working those core values into the line of service. I think you need to clearly know from your constituencies kind of the distinct population that you're serving, who are they, and what makes up the area that you serve, so that hopefully you're reflecting not only your own values, but the values of the individuals that you serve, as distinct and separate as they may be, that in the sum total, hopefully, it's a reflection of the values that you commonly share in the office that you might consider in transportation and education, in a local government, be it local, county, or city, or state, or even federal government. It's a lot of time. You have to do a lot of homework. You have to interface with a lot of people, not always the same people that have the position that you host, but understanding their point of view, listening to their point of view. I think as an elected official, that is a key compartment of deciding whether to run for the first time is, am I able to sit down with people of differing views? Congressman Dellums used to always say, if you're pretty secure in your own moral compass and your place, then you should not hesitate to sit down with someone who has a competing or different point of view. And through that dialogue, hopefully it reinforces where you are, but you don't walk into it protecting that dialogue. You really give an honest ear to someone who has an opposing or differing view. And if you have that quality and that ability to do that, I think it helps to make for the best elected official. I hope that answers somewhat the question for this week, was what led me to decide to run for public office, and what advice would I offer to someone deciding whether to run for the first time. We try to do this every week, and I would encourage you to send some questions to Ask Keith at acgov.org. Ask Keith at acgov.org. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share a little bit of my thoughts about what led me to run for public office, and some thoughts about what one might consider if they're running for public office for the first time. Thank you.